Hello again and welcome if you're new. On this day we spent doing some garden maintenance. As you can see, the little lizards have returned, and here in this next clip is my new favorite garden trinket. It's so fun and so tall. I actually can't believe how tall these cucumbers have gotten. This clip doesn't even show the just amazingness that they have become. So we'll be seeing more of them in later videos, but let's get into some garden maintenance, and I'll let you know what we're gonna do next. Starting off, I'm gonna head over to the bin in the back here to go and grab some things. I needed to grab some of these cups. These cups are pre-drilled, they have holes in them so I can transplant plants that are too big into them, so I needed them to transplant the corn we had planted before. I also grabbed this fertilizer. It's a granule fertilizer that I'm going to use to try and fertilize these green bean plants because they are having a hard time. I went ahead and also grabbed my basket and scissors from the house so that in case there was something to harvest out here, I could harvest it, and we do end up harvesting a couple of things that you'll see in just a minute. These are the corns that are outgrowing these cells, and then these are the lettuce we had planted last time together in this garden. So we're going to be up potting the corn so that they can grow a little bit bigger before I move them into the ground. Here's a little bit of an insight of how the garden is growing. These zucchini plants are getting really big and they just poked me. Yes, they did. They hurt. I didn't realize zucchini plants had thorns, but they do, just like cucumbers. And these succulents, some of them died, but most of them are looking good because the rain. And this is everything else that's just coming in very nicely. You can't tell here in this clip that the green beans are struggling, but I do show you later how they're struggling. Here's our first harvest. This is a celery plant, and I'm just gonna go ahead and cut off all of the stalks that are on the larger side so that it can grow new ones. And I had planned to cut them up and freeze them for making soup later. That was all I was really comfortable cutting off at this time, and I went ahead and I put it in my basket, and this is all I was able to cut off this time. I'll be coming back for another harvest soon. Next on my list of things to do, I went ahead and I put some of this fertilizer down. This is a granule fertilizer, which means it'll release slowly over time. And I went ahead and I put it in this bed only because I had recently put some in this garden, but this bed for some reason to me was looking like it was just struggling a lot more than the rest. So I went ahead and I added some of this fertilizer just to try to add a little nutrition, and just hopefully so that this bed will be looking a little bit better in the future. I did plan on also putting some liquid fertilizer in here at a later time, but I didn't do that today. I worked on quickly getting these corns up potted into these cups. I was at this point running out of daylight, so I still had some things I wanted to get done. So we do work into the hours of the darkness. So I quickly got these potted up so I could move on. As I was putting these into these cups, I made sure to pull apart some of their roots because they were starting to get really wound up. So I wanted to make sure that they were going to continue to grow down and not spiral. With that finished, I grabbed my scissors and moved on to this other side. I was gonna harvest some of this Swiss chard, and I got rid of any of the leaves that were just dry or too destroyed so that they wouldn't be hindering this plant anymore or attracting any pests. I did end up cutting this Swiss chard back really aggressively, just because I wanted to make sure that there wasn't any issues with the plant because a lot of these greens at this point started getting attacked by a lot of bugs and pests. So I wanted to cut it back so that I can get rid of any of the ones that have any pests on them, and I'm going to keep any of the ones that are not in bad condition. All the ones that are in good condition I kept, and then I made sure to cut them back because they'll regrow very soon. I also picked a couple of these radishes. They probably weren't ready, but I am so impatient. I took a moment to look through these carrots to see if there was anything worth picking, but they were all really small, so I left them alone. The final task on this day that I really wanted to get to was this big old massive set of kales. They were coated in all kinds of pests. They had a ton of pest damage. There was a ton of bugs. There was a ton of caterpillars on them. And I just really didn't want these things to continue to spread to the rest of the garden. So I made sure to take a moment to look through all of this. I cut this kale back very aggressively, just like I did the Swiss chard, just to make sure that the pests were not going to spread. I made sure to throw all of the pest infected like leaves into the trash so they wouldn't get back into the garden. There's some caterpillars on here, and then there's a ton of just what looks like aphid eggs all over them. So I made sure to get rid of them. They were really gross and coated in the sticky material. I believe that's aphid. They call it like aphid um, syrup or something. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but these were really sticky and disgusting. So I spent a long while here just cutting these back and making sure to get rid of all of these leaves in the trash once they were done. And once this was done, I was done for this day. Because yeah, this was something I wanted to get to for sure because it was really bad. My daughter was super excited about all the caterpillar and bugs, so I went ahead and I gave her one of the caterpillars in her little container for catching bugs. and she had a lot of fun looking at the caterpillars moving around in there. I don't plan on taking these kale plants out of the ground for this season. I'm just gonna keep cutting them back throughout the season if they're not looking so good, because throughout the summer I'm just gonna coach them through the summer, because I've heard that you can leave kale in the ground for a really long time without having to pull it out of the ground and replant it. You can just leave it in the ground, and then I'm just going to coach it through the summer and just cut it back as needed. And then in the winter and colder months, it'll probably just blow up out of control and become beautiful and big again. So for now, I'm just cutting it back very aggressively, and then I'm gonna give it a good water the following day, and that's all I'm gonna do for these. I'm gonna throw all of the leaves that are infected out into the trash, and then this is just gonna blow up and grow all over again. This is what it's looking like the next day, and I know it looks horrible, but this is kind of part of the healing process. Same with the Swiss chard. They look really bad, but they're going to get so beautiful and luscious after this. This is the growth on the tomatoes. They will need to get put into the ground very soon. And here are the corns that we upplanted. I went ahead and I got everything really nicely watered, and that was all that I did for this particular point in time. We'll be getting into more updates in the near future. Up until this point, we were having a lot of rain, so I didn't water it much, and I didn't worry about watering so much. It wasn't that hot in the recent days until more recently, so I didn't set up the drip irrigation, so I did water everything by hand on this day because it was a bit of a warmer day. But the next thing on my list is to make sure to set up that drip irrigation so that it'll be easier to water these in the hotter days. And that's it for this day. I have not fixed this herb bed issue with my dog, so my herbs are still kind of funny. I hope that I'll be getting to that soon. I just haven't quite figured out what I want to do. There are still things growing in here, but yeah, they're definitely not growing very well. Well, thank you so much for watching. That's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to be seeing you soon in the near future. Thank you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.